Recording progress. Hey everyone, this is Pratap. Today I want to share my learnings from my bathroom repair project. I genuinely hope that my learnings will also help you. I hope that you will not be required to undertake such projects, but if you do, I hope that my learnings will be helpful to you. So I live in a three-bedroom duplex house in Bangalore. I purchased a already constructed house and which is 6 7 years old, and all three of my bathrooms had issues with tiles laying. The main issue was that they were not properly leveled, so the water was getting stagnant there. And the bedrooms in which the bathrooms were there, their walls were becoming like this. And I have two bathrooms in the first floor and one bathroom in the ground floor. And under one of the bathrooms in the ground floor, that is, I have a bathroom in first floor, and under that bathroom, the beneath bathroom, in one place, the roof was really getting dirty because the bathroom above my living area was leaking, and the ceiling in my ground floor was really getting dirty. I had been thinking to redo the tilings for quite some time, but it's very painful, process. A lot of dust involved. You need to find laborers, and it's a long process. We just can't vacate the house and go. So I was postponing, but it came to a point that we cannot continue anymore because the seepage was making the bedrooms and the roof really dirty. So we had to undertake this. I live in Bangalore, so I found a contractor who took 25,000 per bathroom. So I had three bathrooms. In total, I had to pay 75,000 rupees in 2024. I'm telling you this date and numbers as a reference for you. And this 25,000 per bathroom is for nearly 10 by 10, 10 square feet by 10 square feet bathroom. And the cost includes the labor that is required to chip the old tiles and take out the tiles and also take out the concrete completely beneath it. There was like nearly half feet of worth of slab, and beneath that there was a lot of filling with the sand, etc. So the labor to chip this out and the fillings beneath it, and then also the 25,000 included the cost of the other material like concrete, cement to fill back as a slab. What that 25,000 excludes though is the cost of the tiles. Even the labor charges for tiles is part of 25,000, but the cost of the tiles and the cost of the plumber and the plumbing material was excluded from 25,000. It is expensive. 25,000 is quite expensive when I compared with the other people. But unfortunately, for this kind of repair work, very few people come. And even if they come, they start with one bathroom and they disappear. So this was a reliable contractor. And I went ahead because I had no choice. And you can see this was the level till where the floor tiles was done. So we had to take out almost 1.1 feet and a quarter depth of the slabs and other fillings that the original contractor did. Now it was painful, lot of dust, And for labors also it was very tough because of breaking the slab is not so easy. But initially I didn't plan to do it. I just wanted to remove the tiles and redo them just by taking the tiles and maybe an inch or so beneath those tiles. But after we took out the tiles, we realized that the issue is not with the tiles, because there's only one place the water was going beneath the tiles, but rest of the place it was okay. So we clearly knew that the issue is with the sanitary pipeline. So we had no choice to take all the slab out and redo everything. Now, one learning that I had is the earlier tiles that were laid in my bathroom were like um, paper finish is what they call. Like this was how the earlier tiles were laid. See, there's no clear visible line here, right? So this, some people call it as paper finish, right? And some people call it as, I think, um, jointless laying. That is good for living areas and probably parking places and your living rooms and bedrooms where there's no water that is getting poured onto the tiles every day. But for bathrooms, you must go for um, the tiling with this much of spacing. Generally, this will be around 3 mm, 3 millimeters. As the tile size grows, the recommendation of the space also grows. But for up to 2 square feet by 2 square feet tiles, 3 millimeters gap between these tiles is sufficient. But remember that this gap is really, really essential, because however you do, because of the manufacturing issues and all, there will be a small gap between the subsequent tiles when you join, right? Even if there's a gap worth of a hair going there, water will make its way. Once it goes, sits behind, once the water goes behind, sits and goes and sits behind the tiles, there's no way that water can evaporate. So the water will stagnate and it will form the moisture around this place. First, it will start with the wall. Maybe if there was a wall here, right? If there was a wall here, then first the water that is getting stagnated goes here, forms the moisture, right? But in bathrooms, generally, you would cover your wall also with the tile. So even though this wall inside the bathroom is getting moisture, right? You won't see it because there's a layer of tiles that is covering. Then what happens? Here is your bedroom, right? This seepage goes here, and it makes your wall, your bedroom wall damp. Once your walls get dampened, and if they don't get dried, then the first step is your paint will start peeling off, and it looks like as if this is a fully grown fungus, but that's not the fungus. That is the paint, the material in the paint that is getting to peel off. Then if you don't fix the issue there, then the cement that is there in the wall, right, that will get weakened. And the plastering whatsoever had been done, that will start peeling off. If you don't even respond there, then this will go further. This wall will fully get damaged, and your bricks, if you're using mud bricks, then obviously they get damaged. If you're using hollow bricks, they get weakened and your whole wall uh, will become so weak. And if you leave in that state, then next time when you try to put a nail using hammer, then you'll end up breaking this part of the wall fully. So I didn't reach that stage, but I had observed that I have observed that my walls are getting damaged and my roof was also getting damaged. So once you yeah, so this is a basic sense, right? That even though as a house owner you may not know, but the guys who lay the tile, right, they should be knowing and they should suggest, right? But if they put spacer in it, so in the tile shop you can ask a spacer. There is a small spacer that they give, which will look like plus, right? You get a packet for 100 rupees, which is having 100 pieces. Then while laying the tiles, right, they have to put that spacer in between these tiles and join these tiles so that the space that is left, that is uniform, right? Why these why did my original contractor who constructed the house, why didn't he do this thing is to save labor? Because if you do this kind of laying, right, there's no additional work involved. But if you use spacer between this tile, he has to put spacer. Then after laying the tile, he has to remove the spacers. Then he has to fill in this gap and all. It is obviously it is labor intensive. So as a shortcut, those guys did it. But because of their shortcut to save maybe 3 or 4 days worth of labor, I had to again spend nearly one lakh. I think it went up to 1.5 lakh because I have to redo the commodes and all those things. But that is the problem. Anyways, whatever happened has happened. So when you are doing, right, ensure that you tell upfront that I want to do with spacer and you want to do fill with either grout or epoxy. This is a chemical I'll explain shortly. Why is this required? Is when you join these two tiles, right? Even though the tiles are manufactured by machines, there will be slight variation in the finishing of those tiles. So whatever you do when you join two tiles, there will be a small gap. So there's a chance that the water will seep in there. But the problem with that gap is you cannot fill that gap with anything else, like a white cement or anything else. That is the reason jointless laying is recommended only for living rooms and bedrooms. Whereas for bathrooms, you should always go with this kind of spacer. The advantage with this is after a few days, if you feel that there is a gap, right? You can hire somebody or you yourself can buy, if you pay $100 or so, you can get this grout. You can fill that gap easily with your finger because 3 mm is a good enough gap. It will go and settle down properly and you won't see any water going under the tile. Now first, while making the contract, you ensure that you mention that there should be a spacer and ensure while laying down he uses the spacer between these two tiles without any miss. These guys are overconfident, they will not put and they say no, I'll ensure that there's a gap, but they won't use. You won't get the uniform space. And once that is done, then I highly recommend you go with the epoxy. This is a chemical, And but this is expensive. It's about 1,200 rupees uh, for I think 1 kg, and this is about 200. I think 200 or 300. I'm sure there are thousand other brands, but this is the one which I was recommended by the tile guy, and this is by Pidilite Industry, which is a manufacturer of Fevicol and other well-known brands. So I went with this. So I recommend that you go with epoxy, even though it is quite expensive. But I think it's worth spending because one a box of epoxy served 1.5 bathrooms. So for 3 bathrooms, I had to buy 2 kilos, which is fine. And if I went with this one, it would have costed 500 rupees. Since I went with this one, it costed me around 2,500. But I highly recommend because the chemical is very, very, very hard. Once, and it's easy to fix also. Once you lay the tile laying guy only with his finger, he puts this epoxy. It's kind of a semi-solid, like looks like a candle, not as hard as candle, but it's like crayons or kind of mud, right? The tile laying guy, he pushed this epoxy in these gaps. Then he takes the nice cloth and he cleans it so that the epoxy is not left over on the tiles. But after leaving for a day, you can feel that this epoxy, right? It's like a solid rock. It's very, very hard, but it nicely got affixed to these tiles. So there is no question of, going one single drop of water beneath these tiles. So it's very, very hard. But I have to see for how many years the epoxy will stay. Few things that you should take care is after the tiles are laid and epoxy is filled in, right? This kind of spots you should carefully observe and ask the tiles laying guy to clean it, because once the epoxy dries up, it's like a rock. You cannot do anything. So when it is wet, right, especially on the corners, the tile layer should take care and remove it properly. You ensure you check in all the corners, especially behind the doors, etc. The problem with leaving these spots is not just the aesthetics, but also because the surface became rough, right? You will see a lot of fungus that is getting formed here, which will cause the bathroom to be damp always, and various other problems. So you just take care of getting this properly cleaned. I think that's it. I want to share some tips with you, especially for choosing the tiles, the way you get them laid, especially ensuring that this much of gap is left and picking the nice material to fill in the gap, and ensuring that there's no more seepage, and helping you to enjoy your house. Thank you for watching.